No sound. Okay. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Let me know. Somebody said we didn't have any sound. All right. Are we back in? You hear me? All right, you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in to The Divide with Marcus C. Williams. We are here in your ear having the conversations you need to hear. Tell me if you can hear me out there. We were having some issues with our audio. We're probably going to have to cut this video up later and redo it. But I want to tell you guys here in front of your face, praise Jesus Christ. Okay, Christ is King and God bless America. Let's get back into it. We're talking about how taxation is theft and how local government is corrupt. If you can hear me out there, drop a comment. Tell me you can hear me. Drop a thumbs up. Let me know you can hear me. Okay. Oh, I see you out there. You said that we're good now. Thank you very much. Because if somebody didn't have told me, I would have been talking this whole time. And I like to talk, but I don't like to repeat myself. All right. So we're talking about how government corruption is real, even on the local level. And we're talking about how taxation is theft. Taxation is theft, you guys. Whether it's a tax on the candy bar that you get when you go to the grocery store, whether you're filling up your tank and it's the gas tax, whether you're paying your taxes on your house, tax. All of those taxes are nothing but theft. And let's ask yourself, what do you get? What do you get from all of those taxes that you pay, right? Let's talk about the local level. On the local level, you pay property tax. It might be some money coming in from the state or from the federal government or from any other number of other places, right? So you get all of this money and it comes in. Well, where does the money come from? Because the government doesn't make its own money, so the money's got to come from somewhere. That money comes from your pocket, from your paycheck. That's where the government gets its money from. So when the government's like, oh, well, we're giving out all of this stuff, you ain't giving nobody nothing. You took the money and you're trying to act like you're giving us something, but really it's our money that you already took from us. Stop taking our money from us. Stop stealing from the people. Stop taxing the people, period. Okay? It's a very serious problem. Who's this? Goo Ponder? Hi, how are you? Good to see you out there. Hit the share button, hit the like button, and make sure that you are subscribed to the channel, okay? You're in India, brother. Thank you for listening to us, okay? We are a pro-Constitution, pro-America show, okay, based on conservative values, and we are strong in the faith of Jesus Christ. Praise Jesus, the Lord our Father, and the Holy Spirit. Now, as we're talking about how taxation is theft and how the government is stealing all these funds from you, you have to ask yourself, locally where you are, is the government able to spend your money better than you are? That's the only question I want to ask you. Is the government able to spend your money better than you are? Does the government know better than you on how to spend your money? Because I'll tell you about the taxes that we get here where I am, okay? Real quick, we got to do this, okay? Thank you. You're listening to The Divide. We're here in your ear having the conversations you need to hear. This is The Divide with Marcus C. Williams. We are on WRFZLP 106.3 Rochester Free Radio, okay? Now, back to the show. So, as we're talking about this taxation, I want to ask you, what do you see in your area? Just tell me in the comments what you see in your area, what they're doing in your area that you like and what you don't like. Are you more in favor of them spending your money, or would you like to keep more of your money and spend it on what you want to spend it on? Now, here where I am, they spend a ton of money every year on these roads, and they don't even fix the roads. They say the road's supposed to last 10 years. The roads don't last 10 years. If the roads last one season, we're doing a lot. And then they get out every year and they talk about, oh, look, we're fixing something. We're doing something. Look at us fixing the road. I don't want you to fix the road every year. I want it fixed one time. I want it to be done. You understand what I'm saying? If the road's supposed to last 10 years and you got to fix it every year, something is wrong. You have done something wrong. You have failed at your job of stewardship of our capital. And this is an issue. This is an issue. And I just use the roads as one example of our tax money. In my state, in New York State, we have the thruway, right? We have the thruway in New York State. And in New York State, the thruway is supposed to be paid off, I don't know, before I was born. You know what I'm saying? Something like 30-something years ago, something like that. Okay? Like, the thruway was supposed to be been paid off. But still, they're taxing you on the thruway. They're like toll charge, toll charge, toll charge. Now they got rid of the people in the toll booths. Now everything's digital so that they can more easily surveil and keep a track and a record of you and where you go and how much you travel. And then they want you to put the little RF receiver computer chip in your car. Make sure that you have your Easy Pass so that they can even better track you even more. Otherwise, they're just going to scan your license plate anyway. Oh, well, wait, they're scanning your license plate anyway and keeping a record of you anyway, even if you have an Easy Pass. So what are we doing? What are we really doing? But I'm not going to talk about the surveillance part yet. We'll talk about that in a little bit. We're only talking about the taxation. Why are they taxing us on these toll roads? Why are there toll roads? It was supposed to pay for the original construction and updates and some other stuff. I don't even know anymore, but it's way past that time. And every single year they continue to keep up the toll. Why? You told us it was supposed to be paid off. And I don't know if you've rolled through on the expressway in New York State. It's crap. It's crap. Every year they're fixing it. Every year, because it's terrible, because they don't do the job right the first time. And again, this is what I'm talking about, stewardship of your money, of your finances, of your tax dollars that you work hard for. Because again, the government doesn't make any of its own money. The government just steals it from your pocket. That's how it works. And then they promise you free stuff. But really, it's not free because they're taxing somebody. And if it ain't you, it's me. And that's really, really what the real deal is. Drink water, stay hydrated, y'all. So as we have these conversations, this is real and serious. Taxation matters, and how your money is spent actually really matters. And the question is, who actually controls how your money is spent, right? Can you spend it better, or can the government spend it better? Now, my whole thing is that you can spend your money better than the government, and the government ain't worth a good golly daggone no way. Okay? They don't do half of what we want, and the other things that we need, they don't even do really rather very well anyway. So, Goo Ponder, I'd love to have a hamburger helper dinner with you sometime too. If you're ever in the States, let me know. And nothing like a good hamburger helper, right? I am not paid to advertise Hamburger Helper. Dear Hamburger Helper, if you want to endorse me, let me know. You know, anyway, we don't have any endorsements right now. So if you want to endorse, let me know. Or if you want to actually support the station, we have a station fundraiser coming up. It's going to be May 31st, and that's going to be from noon to 6 at Bensie's Neighborhood Food and Drink, and that's 2235 Empire Boulevard in Rochester, New York. So come check that out. Come support the station. You can also support the station by going online to rochesterfreeradio.com and donating on there, or donating on Patreon. Okay? And if you want to help out the show and you're online, you can do either of these over here, or you can down below, depending on whether you're vertical or you're horizontal. Okay? So let's get back into it. As we have these conversations about taxation, I want to remind you guys that taxation is something that really shouldn't be required at such a high level. I'm for lower taxes, okay? Because I know that even things that I like the military, okay, are spending our money very frivolously. So the Department of War never passes an audit. Kind of like the school district where I live in the city of Rochester. School district never passes an audit. And they're like, I want to say, don't quote me on this, they're either $26 million short or $56 million short, but they don't even really know. It's estimated because the state isn't done with the budget yet because of the state politics. Now, mind you, in New York State, the state house is run by the Democrats. The Senate is run by the Democrats, and the governorship is run by the Democrats. Those are the three branches right there of the executive, okay? And that really are, well, not just the executive, but also the legislative of the state, that are the people that make the decisions on the state budget. All of them run by Democrats. How come they don't have a budget yet? How come the budget is behind? Okay, I think we're what, two months behind? Honestly, I don't know. I don't know how far we are behind, right? Like, I'm pretty sure it was supposed to be April, but who knows even? Because honestly, I think we're like a whole year behind on the budget. I don't know. They do so much weird and shady stuff. Who even knows? Who even knows where most of our money goes in New York State, which is its whole own problem, which we should be able to talk about, but nobody wants to talk about. But we're at least 1 to 2 months behind on the budget. And that's a serious problem. Hit that subscribe button online, you guys. Hit the thumbs up and hit the share button because it doesn't cost you nothing. Or hit the follow button wherever you are. Okay. And if you drop a comment, I'll try to pop your comment up on the screen and you can be part of the conversation. So let's jump right back into it. Here we have a situation where the taxes continue to be drained. So what can we do about taxation? Locally, where I live, the city is talking about they want to raise taxes. The mayor wants to raise taxes. Last year, they raised assessments. And they said, oh, we didn't raise your taxes. We just raised assessments. Well, raising assessments means that you're raising taxes. Don't play in my face like I'm dumb. You know what I'm saying? They think that you're stupid. The government thinks you're stupid. They're like, oh, well, we're raising assessments. We're not raising taxes. If you are taxed 8% on $100, right? That's $8. If you are then taxed 8% on $1,000, you're taxed $80. So if you're telling me that you're boosting up my assessment, now I have to pay more taxes. But so you might not have changed the taxes, but you changed the assessment, and vicariously my taxes have gone up. You understand what I'm saying? But they think that you are stupid. I don't think that you're stupid. I think that you can understand simple concepts. You know, as bad as the education system in our nation is right now, I'm pretty sure that most American citizens can understand the simple fact that if you have more money and they're taking more money from you, okay, than they were before, then there is a problem. There's a problem. And it's stated money, right? It's stated value. It's not even real tangible value, right? So if you had a house that's $50,000 and then they say, oh, well, your new assessment is $100,000. Now you're paying double of what you paid before, and they're stealing money from you. Who's to even say that you were able to pull out that extra $1,000 in liquidity from your house, okay, through a home equity line of credit or some other financial mechanism? Who's to say that? Most people don't even know what a home equity line of credit is. Most people don't know anything about that, reverse mortgage or any of that. Most people don't know how to use their house as an asset to build financial freedom and to build financial assets additionally and liquidity. Like, what are we doing? So it's a trick that they're playing on the people. Then also last year here in Rochester, guess what they did? All downtown in Central City, where they're building it all up, okay? They're building it up for all of these affluent people and stuff like that with these $15,000 a month studio apartments, crazy stuff that nobody could ever really pay in that actually lives in Rochester or is from Rochester. That's ridiculous. $15,000 for studios, like y'all tripping balls for real. Okay. So what's going on? You have to ask yourself, why would they do that? But get this, all of these new constructions downtown, all of these new purchases of building, they are not charging these people taxes. Okay. They are not charging these people taxes. So all of these multi-million-dollar buildings, what was the one that they just sold downtown for $10, $15 million? Okay. No taxes. They just built this one. I think it was $500,000 for a unit. It's got like 46 units or something like that. No taxes. No taxes. They're spending no taxes, but they're trying to now increase your taxes. Make it make sense to me. This is the trick. This is the lie. This is what they're selling the people. And it's very problematic. Then you got the state. Don't get me started on the state, man. The state is just New York State. If you don't live in New York State, I hope that your state is better than ours because it's really crooked here. Okay. I mean, it's crooked like M-I, crooked letter I. Humpback I. Anyway, if you guys know how to spell Mississippi. Anyway, I'm not saying the state, but the letter, you know. So it's funny because it's not funny. because you got to laugh to keep from crying. New York State is so far in the hole, it's ridiculous. New York State has, what's the guy's name? DiNapoli. DiNapoli is a comptroller, and right now he's saying that we ain't got no money, that we're broke, and we need more money. So where do we get more money as a state from, right? Where do we get more money as a state? Explain it to me like I'm 5. How does a state collect money? Well, again, going back to the conversation, it's from you. So in the next year budget, okay, they're saying that we're going to have a $7.5 billion 2027 deficit. That's our predicted deficit. So that's a problem. And initially, at the start of the year, they projected a $3.5 billion surplus. Hold on. You went from $3.5 billion surplus projection to $7.5 billion deficit? How does that work? How does that work? Like, that's a $11 billion difference. $11 billion less than what you were projected. How do you project that badly? Where'd that money go? What is now being confiscated from our funds, right? The budget proposal from Albany right now, I believe, is $272 billion. Okay? And that's already $9.2 billion higher than the governor's proposal for the budget. And this is a serious thing. So they're talking about they want to increase the budget because a lot of it has to do with the healthcare program. I want to say it's the 1331 healthcare program, okay, and school aid and Medicaid spending. I already talked about how our school district said that they're short like $26 billion or whatever the case is. Oh, million, excuse me, not billion. $26 million the school district is short. So where's all the money? Where's all the money? Now, here's the scariest part, right? The comptroller, again, this guy is a Democrat. The whole state is run by Democrats. So the Democrat guy that's in charge of the money is telling us that our Democrat-run state doesn't have any money because they squandered your tax money. And then they play in your face, oh, I'm going to give you a couple of dollars back because we overtaxed you on sales tax. Don't give me the money back. Don't tax me on sales tax to begin with. What's wrong with you, fool? You understand what I'm saying? Again, whittling away your financial security, your little bit of extra cash that you got in your pocket for yourself, for your family, for your savings, or for your investments. That's how they roll. They don't care about you. You don't matter as long as they can stay in power. Now, the comptroller, Thomas DiNapoli, he said that by 2030, we're going to have a cumulative gap that's between this year and that then of $27.5 billion. $27.5 billion, right? Where's the money? Where's the money coming from? They're chasing everybody out of New York State, okay? And if you chase everybody out of the state, who's going to come and pay the taxes? That's why they're raising taxes. Then they're spending a ton of our money on illegal aliens, okay? They're spending a ton of our money on illegal aliens. And they're like, oh, no, we're not. But last year in the budget, there was $3.4 billion. And now we're how much money short? Oh, okay. Now the numbers are starting to make a little bit of sense, okay? $3.4 billion for illegal aliens, okay? And we're $7.5 billion in debt, right? Really, it's more allegedly, but that's a whole separate conversation that we're not able to fully confirm right now because they say it's 11.3, but that's a separate billion in debt right now, but that's a separate conversation. Anyway, so we spent $3.4 billion on illegal aliens that we know about. That was allocated specifically for them. How much money is allocated for illegal aliens in the current budget? That's the question that we have to ask ourselves. How much money is allocated for illegal aliens in this year. And I can't deal because I look at the school system and what's happening is terrible. Okay. We have people in our school system that don't know English, that have all types of crazy foreign language. And now our schools are having to do all types of jumping through hoops to actually accommodate these people. Okay, that they shouldn't be accommodating to begin with, by the way, separate conversation, but they have to jump through hoops to accommodate these people. And it's our children who are being left behind by a system that was already failing and trash to begin with. Already failing and trash to begin with. Please make it make sense. Please make it make sense. Okay? This is a serious, serious problem. A serious problem. And it's hard to say, right? How much of this money is actually being put towards the illegal aliens anymore, because they haven't carved out in this bill for this year actual amount per se, right? Like they've got some refugee assistance in there. They've got some legal services for illegal aliens assistance, the illegal alien services money for the lawfare is $64.2 million for non-citizens. These people are not citizens. How are you giving them our tax money? The heck is wrong with you? By the way, while we're on the conversation, I don't think that any foreigners should be able to own property in New York State, right? You keep telling me, oh, we've got a housing crisis. We got a housing crisis. Okay, stop allowing foreigners to own land here. Stop allowing foreigners to own property here. Don't play in my face, okay? Don't do that. You got all these companies buying up all these properties. Don't allow them to do that. If Trump is the president and he's like, I'm stopping big corporations from buying up houses, surely the state government, okay, who's half leftist, the other half is communist, okay, talk about, oh, eat the rich and oh, tax the rich and all of this and all of that, and corporations are bad and greedy. So how come they haven't made a move to stop corporations from and hedge funds from buying up property in New York State? How come that hasn't happened? Make it make sense to me. Explain it to me like I'm 5. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. It don't cost you nothing. And be sure to drop a comment, even if it's just an American flag, a hand wave, or a holla hi. Okay? Let's have this conversation together. Now let's get back into it. The illegal aliens legal service. This is in the state budget 2026, y'all. This is what they're working on right now. $64.2 million for illegal aliens. You know, didn't I just tell you that our school is short like $26 million? But you got $64.2 million that's going to illegal aliens. Make it make sense. Okay, for legal services. That's just legal services. Why are you giving them money for legal services? Okay. Now, according to the advocacy groups, I use the term loosely, okay? Advocacy groups, my foot, okay? All they are is anti-American terrorist groups. Anybody that's trying to bring illegal aliens in this country or let illegal aliens stay in this country are domestic terrorists that are seeking to destabilize our nation, our way of life, and steal our future away from our American children. That is how that works, because what happens is as illegal aliens are here, it creates more competition for our actual citizens. Most illegal aliens do not have any real extra credentials or something like that. We're not getting the best and brightest from these people that are coming in as illegal aliens. They're not rocket scientists. They're not illustrious neurosurgeons, okay? We're talking about people that have very little or no basic skills, and many of them, most of them, don't know the language. So now they're competing with basic entry-level jobs like warehouses, like McDonald's, like other food chains, like other everyday man jobs that anybody can get, that the average kid out of high school could get, or the average high school dropout could get, that anybody any day. So these illegal aliens are competing with our children for their future, right? Then you're talking about you're also going to educate them as well. So what? So that they can get a leg up in our country, that they're here illegally? Send them back. Every one of them. Families can be deported together. I don't care how you do it. drop them off out of an airplane with a parachute on. Okay, go take some, what is it, C-13 is the Hercules? Go take some Hercules and push them out the back. Okay, we got real good parachutes in America. We make real good parachutes. Drop them out the back. Unless their country wants to give us 13 generations worth of resources for each illegal alien that's from their country here. Then we'll be having a good conversation. I'll be happy to have that conversation with any of their governments, because we would like to take 13 generations worth of resources for every one illegal alien that comes into our country from your nation. That's what we need to be doing. Because how are we going to actually facilitate the growth of our country, our economy, and the upliftment of our own people when we're now integrating in these illegal aliens? These people are not even coming here legally. You know how many legal people are coming here? A lot. More than I want, even still, too. Okay, too many. And we'll talk about the Chinese visas in a second, which hopefully that's getting pulled back. But anyway, a lot of them. And that's a serious issue. So we've got refugee assistance. I just told you about the legal services for the illegal aliens in New York State. This is just New York State money. Mind you, we're in a deficit. We're short $7.2 billion, right? Allegedly. But really on paper, it's like 11.3. That's a whole nother conversation, though. Anyway, 64.2 million for legal services for illegals. Then they have refugee assistance for $13.5 million, allegedly, for refugees. But here's the deal with refugees. Our refugees have continued to be underserved. Let me say that again. There is a serious distinction between refugees and illegal aliens, okay? Refugees have gone through the legal process to come to this country. They are here legally, and most of them have to get a sponsor to come into the country. It is not easy to become a refugee and actually get accepted as refugee status in the United States of America. That is a long process, which really can be drawn out and be a very serious situation. A lot of people from refugee camps, you may have heard of them, have come to America as refugees. But it's not easy to make that happen. But what's happened is, as the previous administration has focused so heavily on the illegal aliens, the refugees have been left in the lurch. They've been left carrying a bag, and the bag is empty because all of the money's been taken from what should be to help get them accustomed to living here. And now it's been given to the illegal aliens, right? So when they say that refugee assistance is $13.5 million, are they really giving that to the refugees? No, they're not. Okay? So, and that's a serious thing. And this will go to anybody, this is serious, this will go to anybody who is a family with children who entered the U.S. after 2022. Okay? After 20, how's that math? Let me math some math here. 22, who was the president in 2022? Oh, yeah, Joe Biden. Who they let in here? Oh, yeah, like 30 million illegal aliens. Huh. Funny how that works. Crazy, you guys. Crazy. It's wild. So the craziest thing, as we go into talking about the rest of the state budget, we can't avoid talking about New York City. New York City is projected to need approximately $1.5 billion this year, okay, which is actually a little bit of a decrease for DHS and Health and Human Services, hospital services, I guess they have down there, okay, that are helping illegal aliens. Now, they have their own additional legal aid program there, which they want to expand. Let me tell you that this is an expansion. This isn't the base program, because we already talked about the base program that is being given to the state as a whole. It is, get this, $83 million. $83 million for illegal aliens in legal aid. Crazy. Plus a $5 million one-time restoration for asylum seeker assistance. Wait a second. Hold the phone. Pause. You're giving people from a whole nother country free money, calling it a restoration payment? Who's restoring what? They're not from here. There ain't no restoration from here. We getting money from their country? Are we getting money from their country? You understand what I'm saying? These are the serious questions that you need to ask. This is our money. $5 million. You understand what I'm saying? And then if you're following the whole reparations conversation and you support that, understand that they're giving these illegal aliens $5 million that are seeking asylum, and they don't deserve not a lick, not a dollar, not a dime. Okay? You come here on asylum, you better work your way up from the bottom. Be thankful that they're not cutting your head off wherever you came from. Okay? And if you listen to the story of a lot of people who have struggled to come here, I came here with $1.25 in my pocket. My grandfather came here with $1.25 in his pocket back in 1918, all of these stories and stuff like that. You know, you've heard some of them. But if you running from asylum, you don't need none of our money. You better figure it out, work it out. Okay? $5 million. Ugh, disgusting. Then on top of that, and see, here's the crazy part. We haven't even really gotten into a lot yet. There's also, this is so upsetting, bro. $10 million, hold on, for, guess what? Guess what? Drop it in the comments. What do you think the $10 million is for? $10 million for adult literacy programs for illegal aliens. $10 million for adult literacy programs for illegal aliens. Not adult literacy programs for the people out here that can't read, can't write, that are our citizens. Not $10 million for them. $10 million for illegal alien foreigners who do not speak our language. Why are they here to begin with? Again, we're not talking about people who are here legally, who have their visas, who have their green card. That's not what we're talking about. $10 million. And this, again, is just New York. Just New York's, and this in particular is our state tax money that's going to the city. But wait, there's more. $4 million. Guess what the $4 million is for? $4 million for illegal aliens, family engagement in public schools, transition, and communication. Whatever weird, obscure nonsense that actually means. What does that mean? Can anybody tell me what that means? Because the first half, it gives you a thought in your head of what it might mean. But then when you look at the rest of it, you're like, what the heck does this even mean? You know what I'm saying? $4 million for whatever that nonsense is, which again, I bet you most of this money will never see materialize into anything that's actually helpful. And for illegal aliens, later for them. They don't deserve a dollar or a dime. I'm not going to say it again. I probably will say it again. I'll probably say it a lot again. Okay. Hit that like button, hit the share button. It doesn't cost you nothing. Drop a comment. I'll try to pop the comment up on the screen and have you be part of the conversation. Somebody said, who's this? It says, I'm awake. 805 says $2 billion a day on a useless war, and you're mad about nothing. No, I'm definitely very clearly mad about something. And I didn't say so much that I'm mad. It's that I'm upset and I'm frustrated. Okay? Because that is our taxpayer money that should be going to our citizens. If foreigners that are not citizens need money, let them get it from their own countries. If their country won't give it to them, that's their own problem. Do you know how many homeless citizens are outside in our city right now? In our city, we have over 3,000 homeless, right? That we know about. It's like 3,500. They say there are over 2,200. It's 2,200 homeless of school-age children. Of school-age children. So you got the audacity to tell me about, oh, well, you're mad about nothing. The homeless people in my city deserve that money over illegal aliens. So don't play in my face. The people out there that are struggling to make ends meet because the state has put in horrible regressive policies, shutting down energy generation in our state, bumping up energy costs, ballooning energy costs in our state, and it's making people's bills hard to pay for them. They deserve that money. They deserve that money. Our citizens deserve that money, not illegal aliens, not foreigners that ain't got no business being here. Okay? None of it. Thank you for your comment. I am awake, 8:05. So back at it, because if you thought I was done talking about money for illegal aliens, oh, I wasn't. So now here's the deal. Interesting thing, because of the federal cap that's been updated on refugees, I believe, I want to say that the federal cap on refugees is now 7,500, okay, for 2026. So I'm starting to wonder where all of this stuff is coming from, right? So why do you need so many if the federal government is saying that we're letting in so few? So clearly that money is not going to refugees, because that'd be some real rich refugees. You understand what I'm saying? So make it make sense. So whose face are they playing on? You can do some basic math. If the cap is 7,500, okay, and they're talking about all these millions for refugees, $13.5 million for refugee assistance, and how much was the other thing that they said was allegedly for refugees? I don't know. All of these things they try to incorporate saying that it's for refugees when really it's for illegal aliens. So let me give you a real rundown and a breakdown of what all the total numbers look like. Now, mind you, they told us that they don't have benefits. They don't get SNAP. They don't get Medicaid. They don't get CHIP. They don't get any of that. That's a lie. That's a lie. They've been getting it. And Chuck Schumer got up on the TV about a month or so ago and said they don't want illegal aliens to get food stamps, and their food stamps and their medical is going to get cut. I said, hold on, bro. You told me for years, the last few years, that they're not getting SNAP, that they're not getting Medicaid. But that was a lie. You told us a lie the whole time, and now here you are out your mouth admitting that it's the truth. Okay? Shameless. Shameful. And on top of that, and this will happen at some point, the federal government is saying that they're looking to claw back some of that money that they've been giving to illegal aliens on the state level. So we'll see how that works out. Now, I'm going to give you the breakdown of the estimated totals for the illegal aliens in New York State. Okay? These are just estimated. It's probably a lot more. So 2.16 billion would it be for housing and shelter? This is for illegal aliens. Emergency coordination, $316 million. $316 million for emergency coordination for illegal aliens. For legal services, $81.2 million. For resettlement of illegal aliens, $37.3 million. And all the other stuff like housing, security, transportation, all of that, $56.7 million. Now, you don't got to be very good at math to know that that's not a little bit of money. What do they say? That's nothing to shake a stick at. You're talking about on paper, yet again, like I told you last year, it was 3.4 billion. Yet again, you're looking at about another 3 billion and some change. And these are the numbers that we know about, right? Because they sneak other monies into different nonprofits and stuff like that. And they don't write it as this type of allocation, but it gets used that way anyway, like the school funds, okay, which weren't included in the last numbers that I gave you, by the way. Okay. This is a problem. And we need to talk about that and have the conversation, because this is stealing money and finances away from our children's future. It's stealing it away from families that need those resources. Okay. It's more than to cover most of the small deficits that some of these townships and school districts and stuff are running in the state. I guarantee you, just the money that we're spending on the illegal aliens can cover most of the deficits in the rest of the area of the state. So make it make sense. They can almost cover the whole. As a matter of fact, I think if we get rid of it, we can cover the whole deficit almost. Okay? The whole deficit almost. I guarantee you, as a matter of fact, we probably could cover at least 70% of the whole deficit. If we got rid of this, on paper, it's 50+% of what the deficit is, the $7.2 billion that they're saying we have in a deficit. So we'd be able to cut out half of that, right? Because we'd wait till the next year's bill to see what the total that's left over on. So we'd be able to cut out half of that immediately, which means that we'll probably end up with even less spending at the end of that. So let's really have serious conversations. You're listening to The Divide with Marcus C. Williams. We are on WRFZ 106.3 LP, Rochester Free Radio. Hit the like button, hit the share button. It don't cost you nothing. If you want to donate to the station to help keep us on the air, it's rochesterfreeradio.com. And we've got a fundraiser coming up. It is May 31st, and it's a fundraiser for the station. And that's going to be at Bensie's Neighborhood Food and Drink, 2235 Empire Boulevard, Rochester, New York. That's May 31st from noon to 6 p.m. If you want to support the show directly online, either of these ways here or down below. And if you're on the radio listening to us, make sure you tell your friends, your family, and even your enemies, tune into The Divide Tuesdays from 2:30 to 4 p.m. All right, let's get back into it. I want to continue the conversation about this, but I want to move into visas. Okay. I want to move into the visas. Excuse me. I want to move into the visas, especially what's going on to the Chinese visas and what's happening right now. I don't know if you guys know about what's going on with visas or the fact that they've been pushing for these H-1B visas and other admissions and all of this other stuff, because it's not the H-1B, it's H-1B, it's E-1, it's what is it? H and some other numbers and stuff like that. Okay. And it's a problem. And we need to stop them. I really am about stopping all visas for the next 10 years. Honestly, we have so many, over 30 million illegal aliens here that we know about, right? 30 million illegal aliens that we know about, and we're still letting more people in. Make it make sense. Why are we doing that? Then you look at what's happening with Chinese, right? China's running breeding programs in the U.S. Don't believe me because I'm saying it. Believe me because I'm telling you. Go look it up. China is running baby breeding programs in the U.S. so that they can work their way and wean their way into our country, okay, through rights of birth. This is why we have to make sure that we're going into the Constitution and looking at it and saying, oh, yeah, you know, all of those laws that came after the Civil War during the Reconstruction and stuff like that, all of those were for Black Americans and former enslaved people, not for illegal aliens that just want to try to have a baby here and try to use the baby as an anchor baby. That needs to be stopped. Plus, we know that the Chinese government requires all Chinese citizens or people with origin of China to spy for the government. And they'll even go as far as threatening and torturing their families and stuff like that. Now, we're talking about the CCP, which is a group of individuals who use torture and sexual violence as a way to torture and coerce people. Like, these are not good people. Like, they do evil stuff as a government, right? Like, we're not talking about bad guys, gangsters. Well, I mean, they are bad guy gangsters. But we're talking about a government that's completely bad guy gangsters. They're sexually assaulting and raping the, what do you call them? The Uyghurs, right? The Uyghurs, how you pronounce it? You understand what I'm saying? Somebody drop how you spell it in the comments. But the Uyghurs, they're these Muslim people that live in the, what's that, Northwest? Yeah, of China. Anyway, but they also are doing it to the people that do practice Falun Gong / Falun Dafa. It's both names is the same thing. And those people don't do anything but practice peace and perseverance, and I'm totally butchering what they say that they practice, but it's like they're like all peace, 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 and stuff like that, right? Peace and mental fortitude and stuff like that. Like it's a real chill, like spiritual practice, right? Like it's kind of a quasi religion, you know, but really, they're really rather chill people. You know what I'm saying? And they're cutting them up for their organs. That's what China's doing. And you want to let these people over here from over there? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You know how many people have escaped from over there? And you just willy-nilly letting people in from China that are working for China to spy on us, that are over here producing bugs and bacteria to destroy our country, our food crops, and everything right here in America. Go look up at the Chinese biolabs that they've been discovering in the US. Go look up at the guy that just tried to bring in all of those beetles from China. Okay? They're trying to commit ecological terrorism against the United States because it's really ecological warfare because they are at war with us. And we as Americans need to understand that this is ever so very serious. We shouldn't be letting any of them come in here. And I encourage you, go look up what happened in Trump's first term at the Chinese embassy in, was it Austin? Dallas. It was in Dallas. Okay. And how they were running a spy ring out of the Chinese consulate down there. And the FBI tried to raid them. They were burning all the papers and all types of stuff. It was crazy. Not to mention all of the students that have been arrested and pushed out during that same time period under Trump's first administration. Now they're letting them all in. Trump talking about, oh, we're going to let another 500,000 in. No, the hell you're not. Excuse my language. Okay. Heavens to Betsy. No, you're not the 500,000 Chinese people. No. I don't want 500,000 of nobody here, but you talking about 500,000 Chinese? You tripping. Them people want to spy on us and do everything they can to destroy our nation. And that is a stated goal by them. That is not something fictitious. That is not an elaboration. Like I'm not even able to exactly express hard enough or serious enough how devious, cunning, and conniving China is. Like, I mean, when you talk about a villain, I mean, Hitler ain't got nothing on these people in the CCP. Okay? You want to talk about bad? The CCP invented bad. Okay? Well, they didn't, you know. We can go back to the Bolsheviks and stuff like that and the real roots of communism. Okay? China just adopted it, but they've been the most successfully murderous reign of communism. Okay? Continuously. The longest continuous murderous reign of communism. Okay? It's crazy. Communism has killed the most people in the world. Go look that up. Okay? It's horrible. It's really horrible. And we need to have more open conversations about why that is bad. So right now, there's about 75 countries that have a whole pause on all of their applications that have been frozen. And now they're starting a fingerprint database that's kind of been started, but they've kind of stopped it. I think it's the USICS that's running that. So, and they've stopped it. And then now they're charging like, I want to say it's $5,000 or something to hold for visas to let people in here and stuff like that. And now Trump is fighting with China, talking about they're going to deny more of China's visas if they don't take their people back that are here in our country illegally. So this is how I found out that China's not even taking back their illegal aliens that we're trying to deport. Well, guess what? We ain't got to even deport them. We still got the execution thing on the table. Okay. We still got capital punishment for treason on the table. Execute them. Okay. Full stop. Let's do that. Okay. Because we already know that they're spies, okay? Charge them with treason and make sure that you give them the final offense. That's what we need to be doing. China needs to be taught a lesson, okay? Because they think that they can do whatever they want. And I know, what's his face? The I Am Awake or whatever his name was earlier guy talking about, oh, well, the war over there. Anything that hurts China, bro. Anything that hurts China is good for the U.S. You don't know, or you don't care, or you want to puff out your chest and stick your nose up in the air because you don't understand or you don't care what's going on. I have a number of concerns and issues with a lot of stuff that's going on militarily wise and in the Middle East, but the general concept of destroying Iran's ability to have full autonomy and control outside of the reigns of the United States of America and our grasp, yeah, destroy all of that. Why? Because they are working with China to undermine our authority and our ability, and any undermining to our authority undermines our position, which means that it makes your life in peril. Okay? And people don't understand that. They don't see that. They don't get it. Because, I mean, why would they? It's so far away and ethereal to them. They don't understand. Because, again, they don't even have general civics, more or less world studies. You know, what'd you get? Some social studies, a little bit of social studies in school, you know, a little bit of geography. You know, most people couldn't before this couldn't put Iran on a map. Where's Iran? Put it on a map. No names on there. You can put it on a map. You know what I'm saying? If I asked you where was, I don't know. If I asked you where was Oman, you probably couldn't even put that on a map. 90% of Americans. Okay? Like, what even are we doing here? So we're not going to play the fool continuously to China and let China manipulate all of these people that are rogue regimes. And when I say rogue regimes, I mean outside of the general working and standard frame of work with the United States of America. And you might feel some type of way about that, but I honestly do not care at all. Why do I not care? Because I am American. I don't live in another country. So I need my country to be dominant over all of the other countries, because I know that the less power that the United States of America has on the world stage, the worse our quality of life gets in America. And a lot of these people out here that are clamoring, oh, Palestine this, oh, Iran that, oh, I don't know, Venezuela this, oh, whatever, wherever else, right? They're clamoring for all of these regimes that are against America. They're clamoring for the fall of our nation. They're clamoring for the enemies of our country, like Iran that's been saying death to America for 50 freaking years. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you stupid? Put them up there for treason too. Get rid of them too. Okay, along with the Chinese traitors. Okay, get rid of them. Okay, spies. All of them, usurpers. Okay, trying to deviously, domestic terrorists. Are we executing domestic terrorists? Is that a thing? Do they do that? I don't think so. Maybe that needs to be a thing. But it's a serious issue. And we need to have these conversations. And we're not having enough of these conversations. But we should be. We really should be. And the fact of the matter is, if we're not having these conversations, what's going on? I can't hear myself. Okay, there we go. But if we're not having these conversations, then what are we doing? See, and I want to be very, very, very understanding. And I want to show that I actually care about the people and the issues that they have and stuff like that in other places. And I do, truly, I feel for them. But you know who I feel for first and foremost? The American people. The American people. Because I'm American. I live in America. I was born in America. All my family's from America. We've been from America since before America been a country. We've been from America. So make it make sense to me. Why should I even be concerned at all about what they've got going on in a whole nother country if it is not benefiting us, right? So we'll go into, and I want to tie everything up with this, because people are talking about this engagement in the Middle East, right? Well, what's going on in Iran hurts China. If it hurts China, it's good for the U.S. because China has been trying to decapitate the U.S. over and over and over again. We're like some Rocky and Bullwinkle stuff, except China keeps getting to get up on us, okay? We just keep surviving. Okay, and now we're starting to thrive too because we've been punching back. Okay, thank God for President Trump. That's an amazing thing. I'm so glad that he's going back after China when Biden was all in bed with China. Okay, so that's kind of amazing. And that's not me being like, oh, he's the greatest ever. But I mean, shoot, wasn't nobody else doing it. I don't see any of the Democrats talking about being hard on China or nothing at all. Why are they not talking about that? Are you all in the pockets of China? Or is it because you all support communism? Is it because you all are enemies of the state and want to destroy our country? Like, why is that? Why aren't they tough on China? Why don't they verbally speak about that? However, I'll give some of them some credit. Some of them did sign the bill to basically condemn the forced organ harvesting that's going on in China. Did I tell you about the forced organ harvesting? I did, right? Like, these people are super evil, from live people. Live people. They alive, y'all. Prisoners of conscience and political adversaries and stuff like that. That's whose organs they're harvesting. Okay? And you want to be friends with these people? And then there's so much Chinese propaganda online. They try to start showing me Chinese propaganda. I'm in there putting on there. Now, I know you didn't show me this daggone Chinese propaganda, YouTube. Now, I know you didn't show me this daggone Chinese propaganda, Facebook. Who you, stupid? You know who I am? How dare you? You know, it's funny, but it's really not funny at all. Because there are all these people, oh, look at China. China's so great. China, it's not. You know how much homelessness is out in China? Millions and millions and millions and millions. You think there's homeless people here? You don't even know. You don't even get it. And a lot of the Chinese population is still rural. Okay? That means that they're living out in the woods and stuff like that. The woods, the plains, the whatever you call their deserts. I don't know what you call them, I guess, you know, like the Gobi Desert and the rest of that. Nobody's really living in the Gobi. Some people live in the Gobi Desert, but they got a lot of desert and stuff over there. As a matter of fact, at some point, it'll be good for us to talk about the Great Green Wall of China. And that's worth a conversation, because I do like their reforesting efforts. They're actually doing something that I really think that should be done more in the United States. But that's a whole separate conversation about water mismanagement. And I know that the, what do you call it? The BLM, the Bureau of Land Management, is supposed to be working on stuff like that. But you got states like California that are just super trash. Do you know that California used to have one of the largest natural lakes in the world? And then they drained it all because they used it all up for different agriculture, and I'm using air quotes, agricultural uses. No, they're just wasting the water. And now the whole delta down there, not delta, what do you call it? I guess, I don't know, valley, riverbed. It's not, but they built on it, so it's not like a traditional riverbed and stuff like that. Go look it up. Anyway, so I'm all about conservation of nature and stuff like that, and ecology. But we've got a lot of stuff going on right here where we live in New York State, where they're putting all these solar panels on all our farmland. Make it make sense. They're talking about, oh, we're saving the future from the carbon dioxide. Shut up. Shut up. You're putting the solar panels where the trees should be growing. Okay, you want to cover the crop fields and stuff like that? Put trees on them. Okay, it will be doing way more to sequester carbon. Then we can do whatever we want that's producing CO2. Okay? The trees will absorb it. The trees eat CO2. Do you not know how food works? Okay? Then you got all these crazy people that are vegans that are all pro solar panels and stuff like that. Okay, good. I get you. But do you know that if we want to sequester carbon, like you say that you're so concerned about the carbon, that the best way to do that is to plant trees? I used to be a member of the Arbor Day Foundation. Okay? But they lost their rabbit mind too. Them and Greenpeace, I don't like them neither. They lost their way. All right. They used to be about conservation. Now they're all about crazy activism for things that aren't even their original causes. Ridiculous. Okay. And people don't understand that as conservatives and as Republicans, they're the ones who started all of these national parks. It's Republicans. The conservation is Republicans that started all of that in our country. So they're like, oh, you guys don't like this. You don't know what you're talking about. You don't know the history of America. And that's something that's very important to understand. But as we talked about earlier in the show, people don't know the history of our nation. And that's a serious, serious problem. A serious problem. But God willing, we'll be able to correct that coming up here shortly, with them trying to change the way the education system works in many states and actually teach people about the Bill of Rights and stuff like that, and the Constitution and our traditional history. Maybe we can get back on the right path. That is my wish of wishes. I pray that for our nation, and I pray that in the name of Jesus Christ. And while you're here with me, if you're watching and you don't know Jesus Christ, I encourage you to pray to God and ask him to show himself to you, that he is real. Okay. And may you be open and accept the Lord Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, because he is our everlasting and eternal God. Okay. He is part of our triune God, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Okay. All in one. Okay. They are all one. And Jesus came to the earth and he died for our sins. He sacrificed himself. God came down to earth in the flesh, sacrificed himself for us because we couldn't get right and we did nothing but sin, and we couldn't follow the rules and the laws that he laid out. So he sent Jesus Christ, his son, okay, the embodiment of him on earth, of the Godhead on earth. And he sacrificed his life for us, overcoming death, rose again 3 days later, so that we can have a chance at everlasting eternal life with the Lord our Father in eternity. You guys be blessed and be well. May you find Jesus and may he shine in your life. Remember, stand up, speak up, and don't shut up. Take action. I'll catch you guys later. Tune into the show online, the Marcus C. Williams channel on YouTube. Okay, you've been listening to The Divide on WRFZ 106.3.
Monday nights from 7 to 8.
All right, you guys, we're going to cut out of here. I love you all. Drop some comments down there. Hit the share. You guys be blessed and be well. We're out.